think about the Los Angeles Lakers job. And I keep hearing that people feel like that this is the best job in sports. It's not, okay? There are multiple players from California, DeMar DeRozan, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George. None of them wanted to go play there. Kawhi Leonard is a free agent. He's from California. He does not want to go play there.
And the Lakers, as a result, are entirely and completely dysfunctional.
Well, here's what LeBron should do, okay? If y'all don't give me the coach I want, trade me.
Oh, he should demand a trade.
Yeah. And what a lot of this dysfunction now may mask and may protect LeBron from, because the conversation in July was headed toward who wants to play with LeBron. Are there star players who want to partner up with him? The conversation has shifted to the dysfunction of the organization, the rudderless nature of their leadership. And in some ways, LeBron is getting protected from what would have been a serious criticism if they strike out in July.
At some point, does LeBron say, what am I doing here? These are the last great years of my career, and they could be falling apart before my eyes in an organization that right now feels dysfunctional, bordering on toxic.
Harry Champion, I work with you. How are you? This is for Jalen. I'd like you to acknowledge the fact that the league is against the Lakers. It's not a conspiracy theory. People really truly have a problem with this mom and pop organization in this city being big lights, being Showtime, and they really are annoyed by the fact that LeBron came here. So with LeBron coming to the Lakers, he brought his own separate hate. Rob Pelinka was one of the most hated agents because he was so good. And then Magic, people just be mad at him just to be mad at him, okay? So it's like all of that separate hate combined into this one big, huge, combustible hate of everyone saying they're tampering and this, that, and the third. It's really disrespectful. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Aren't they just jealous of the Lakers?
They're the talk of, they're talking to him.
It seems like they have their own channel. It's called ESPN. I've been watching for the last few days.
And he finished second to James Harden in points per game and player efficiency rating. He led the league in blocks per game for the third time in his career. And he finished third in MVP voting behind Harden and LeBron James. It's his best MVP finish in his career. Let's pretend you're a GM. Mm-hmm. What would you give up for Anthony Davis to be a member of the Celtics team?
Oh, wow. As much as I love a lot of the players on the Boston Celtics, but to get a guy like Anthony Davis, there's nobody on that team outside of Kyrie and Jason Tatum. And then you got this big guy who's just filling up the paint, doing everything for him. If you get those three on the team, then the league better watch out.
First of all, he will be the best player on their team right now, excluding nobody. I think he's the best player on their team right now. So, nobody in the league is untouchable.
Well, I mean, teams say guys are untouchable. We always hear, with the Lakers, it was Brandon Ingram. I'm not sure what it would be in Boston.
And for the Lakers, I'm throwing in everybody except LeBron.
I just want to be clear about something. There are a lot of players that the Lakers could trade for in this league where the assets that they have would be very attractive. I would say if they targeted 95% of the players and said, we want this guy, you can have all of our young players, they would be able to get it. This is not an indictment of those guys. But for Anthony Davis, a top 5 arguable player who is going to be desired in many different markets, the Lakers just don't have the assets.
I'll simply say this. If the Lakers are drafting at number 4 on draft night, they're in trouble. Because that means they didn't get an AD trade done. They are not a front runner or even really a major consideration among any of the elite free agents.
You wonder, even if they only get a co-star in free agency for LeBron, if that would even be enough. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Rich, who actually represents LeBron, they also represent Darius Garland, who plays at Vanderbilt. So those guys are working out too. So a lot of moving parts here when it comes to the Lakers.
That there is a significant drop-off in the value of the asset that could be turned into R.J. Barrett versus the one that can be turned into Darius Garland.
I don't think it's as significant as we are making it seem to be. I mean, just think about what he just said about Darius Garland. At the start of the year, he was our #1 point guard on our board. That means that he was better than John Morant.
Question, because the big story coming out of last night, I think, is how it all impacts the Anthony Davis trade conversation. So the Knicks pick at 3, the Lakers pick at 4. As far as the value of those picks, I think there was conventional wisdom that this was a 3-player draft, and then there's a big drop-off to number 4. How accurate is that, Mike? How impactful do you think that is as a potential trading chip?
Yeah, that Lakers pick is not nearly as valuable as that Knicks pick. Like you said, this is a 3-player draft.
The Pelicans are not interested. They're not interested in any of it They're not interested in 2 first-round picks and all 4 young players. They don't like the Lakers' offer.
The Lakers. Now, here's the compensation package. Everybody's wondering, what would they give up? Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. Remember, Ingram has the blood clots in his arm, so that's an issue. Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 overall pick in the 2019 draft, which will air this Thursday on ESPN. That league sources tell ESPN. We've got the NBA's best insider with us. He's going to help break this down for us. It's Adrian Wojnarowski. He joins us tonight here on SportsCenter. Woj, I just gave the details of the deal. This is Tony Collins and Zubin Mehenti. What else can you add?
Zubin, Tony, this is a monster haul for the New Orleans Pelicans to get 2 starters, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, an outstanding young player in Josh Hart, and 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 overall pick in Thursday's draft, which allows New Orleans not only to draft Zion Williamson at 1, but at number 4, get another, potential very good young player. But for the Lakers, they paid a steep price to get the player they had to get.
There's no way to correct. Was it a mistake relative to the Davis trade? Did they have to pull the trigger for fear he was going to go somewhere else?
Well, what it had to do was the fact that that pick was in the draft, and they needed essentially it would hold up other teams. If the Pelicans trade that pick, if the Pelicans use it, it would hold up those teams' cap space. They don't have to wait on LA with this. LA would love for them to do it. Nobody else is obligated to. New Orleans wants to get this deal done on the 6th when the free agent moratorium ends.
The way this trade was constructed, this should have been first and foremost on their minds as they were talking to the Pelicans in a way where they set themselves up. If this was really their plan, they want to have a 3rd star. This should have been central to the conversations with the Pelicans, and my understanding is that it was not. That
Why
went
was it
all
not?
the way down the road, and it's been described to me as the Lakers called back after everything had been discussed, about this.
After the initial deal was put together. That's weird. It sounds like they're playing catch-up, hence the word scrambling like Woj used. Again, Byron, it sounds like a very novice front office potentially making a mistake.
Yeah, not prepared. Yeah. And if you want to come to L.A., I'm afraid I might say, well, let me look at the Clippers first.
Would we gotten to that point? Because
I would
we
probably say,
really
let me look
hadn't
at the
been at that
Clippers.
point.
If I am Kawhi Leonard, and just say I'm Kawhi Leonard, and I'm getting pursued by both L.A. teams, I think I'm going to take a harder look at the Clippers because of the stability that they have.
This still is really just the Clippers and the Raptors. But I'm told they're open to potential meetings with the 76ers, with the Knicks, even the Brooklyn Nets. Now, Philadelphia, their focus is re-signing their own free agents. Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, J.J. Redick. But there are always relationships that exist that are going to allow teams to get meetings. Very often, they're just as courtesies. They're for a favor, perhaps, in the future. But I think it's conceivable. He's going to sit down with Philly, the Knicks, but this is still a 2-team race right now, the Clippers and the Raptors.
Is the reality right now with the Lakers, with Kawhi, and anyone else they may be trying to sign?
The reality is Kawhi Leonard's focused on Los Angeles, but it's the Clippers, not the Lakers. Number one, they don't have the money to sign him. And 2, the idea of him being a 3rd wheel on a team trying to create a super team, that has not been Kawhi's MO. The Clippers are poised to be able to lure him from Toronto. This will be a Raptors-Clippers fight down the end. He may take meetings with more teams. It's not even certain he'd even take a meeting with the Lakers right now.
It was amazing
Less people,
being at the
less
Clippers
media.
last night,
I'm going to
where
go
this is a
watch the other
franchise
team
that's
tonight.
Probably done everything
and
right.
as I
the
slowly
last few
was
years,
going these Clippers games, I became more and more and more impressed with the Clippers organization. Their coaching staff, their ownership, their front office, their decisions they made. They just made another terrific trade yesterday. I know nobody pays attention to it. They get Mo Harkless, who's a high-quality defensive player, and they get a first-round pick for him. They're loaded with assets. They've got beautiful young players that are really going to develop. They have done everything right as an organization.
Kawhi Leonard, man, one of the crown jewels of this free agency class, and conventional wisdom leads toward him going either to the Clippers or staying with the Raptors. But Mark Stein reporting the Lakers have believed for weeks that they will be a factor in the race to land the Finals MVP. Scotty, I believe in the Tooth Fairy. Do you believe, like the Lakers, that they have a shot at Kawhi?
No, I do not.
And I may not believe in it too, Ferry, but I just can't see him going to the Lakers.
I mean, we can all believe whatever we want, but I don't see it either, right?
Yeah, this is crazy. I don't even think he's going to give him a look.
To say, hey, if you could make a bet today on any team to win the title, I made you make that bet.
Yeah.
Who would you pick?
I'm going to say what I said the year before.
Which is?
The Warriors.
You think the Warriors?
With the possibility that Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard could be teaming up?
Well, as Ramona Shelburne and I reported earlier today, they've been talking. And listen, when you have two players of this caliber who are out in the marketplace and have a couple teams in common that they're going to take meetings with, have an interest in, it only makes sense that they'd have those conversations to see if there's something that might make sense together. Now, the team that they're both going to talk with are the Clippers and the New York Knicks.
For that Clippers contingent, they've really planned on Doc Rivers being front and center. And I think it's been described to the Clippers by those who would know that making a connection between Rivers and Kawhi Leonard is going to be really important. And guys who played for Doc Rivers and talking to some of them leading up to this, they all liked Rivers' chances. Certainly he knew he was going to get some kind of a speech from him in there that he's going to, that's what makes him one of the great qualities of him as a coach, his ability to inspire. And I think that's going to be really important for the Clippers and their pursuit. Steve Ballmer, too. I mean, that's a lot of charisma, magnetism in a room